Yo, Scooch, on today's video, I got how to make the Forge Roblox. This is part one of the series and stuff like that. Sorry again, guys, for the time in between videos. Got my wisdom teeth removed a week or two ago, so had to recover from that. Couldn't really talk. But yeah, happy New Year's to everybody. So hope everybody's having a great 2026 so far. As you guys already know, or if you're new around here, as long as you show the series love and support and it continues to receive love and support, I will continue keep the series going. If not, I will not continue the series. It's that simple. But yeah, I've heard a lot about the Forge. People wanted me to make a video on it, so this is part one. Seems a pretty cool game, pretty chill RPG and stuff like that. Simple mechanics. So yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so for the first video, I'm just gonna cover basics, just making a mining system. So a few things I do already have pre-made. First things first, let's just make a rock. Let's start off very simple, right? Let's make a rock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go up here to the top, click right here. I'm gonna click spear. We're just gonna make a very basic rock, okay? So for anyone who's new here, I'm just a scripter, not a modeler, not a builder, none of that. So all demonstrations will be very simple, I should say. So we're just gonna make it black. Material. We're just we're making a rock, so let's make the material rock, right? And then you want to make sure it's anchored, right? And then you could just go ahead and just name it rock, right? Then we're going to need to add three things. We're going to need to insert three things into it. So first, we're going to need a number value. This is going to be the health, right? So number value, we name it to be health. Now, I'm pretty sure as you guys can tell, when the player tries to mine said rock and stuff, it's going to slowly chip away at the health until it reaches 0. So you can set this to whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to set it to be 15, right? It's completely up to you guys for whatever number you want it to be. Then we're going to insert a bool value, right? And then we're going to call this is mineable, and then make sure it is set to true, right? Because I'm guessing there'll probably be objects that are maybe that might have like a health value um that may not be mineable. So just make sure it's set to true bool value, and then obviously if it's set to true, then that means players can mine it. And then for the last thing, we need a hitbox, right? So let's insert a part into the rock, right? And then we're just gonna design a little hitbox. So you can set this transparency to 0.5 for now, right? This is what's gonna detect when the player is making contact with it. um Now keep in mind, it's not going to be the player's pickaxe, it's going to be the player's body. So you want this to be around, or well, the player's hitbox, I should say, not the player's body, the hitbox. So you just want it to be kind of around it. So something like that, right? But it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, it can be however you guys want it to be. And then what you guys can do is call this object hitbox, right? Few important properties. Disable can collide, make sure it's anchored, and then set transparency to be 1. And then boom, just like that, we are done with our rock, right? Then we're going to need a remote event to communicate between the server and the client. So head on over to replicated storage, click the plus icon, insert a remote event, rename this remote event to be core event, right? Then from there, let's go ahead and let's work on our hotbar. As you guys know, there's a custom hotbar where you can equip like your axe, any weapons you have and stuff like that. So let's head on over to starter GUI, hit the plus icon, screen GUI, rename this to be core GUI, disable reset on spawn. Then what you want to do is you want to insert a frame. This is going to be our hotbar frame, right? I'm going to drag this down to the bottom middle, and then I'm going to set the size to be like 500 by 100, something like that, and just have it in the middle, right? Boom. Then I'm going to insert a UI grid layout into it, and then you guys can set this to whatever you want it to be, but what I chose to go with was 8, 0. And then for the cell size, I went with 80 by 80. So boom, right? So then now it'll automatically size and position everything you insert into it. So then hotbar frame, you can set this background transparency to be 1. Then you can insert a text button, and then we only need one for the first part of the series, first video. So I'll rename this to be pickaxe text button, right? This would be for our pickaxe, so players can equip and unequip their pickaxe, right? And make the background color nice black. Set the background transparency to be like 0.5. And then from there, you can clear out the text. And then this is up. Well, you know what? Just do it anyway. So then we're gonna insert a UI corner, right? We're gonna insert a UI corner into it, right? Then from there, we're going to go ahead and insert a text. Well, we're gonna need two, but for now, we'll just do this one. We're gonna insert a text label, right? And then we could call this number text label, right? So this is just gonna be the number at the top. This is gonna be the first item in our um, what is this called again? Yeah, hotbar. So we're just gonna set the text to be 1. So scale the text. Text color will be white. Text stroke color will be black, and text stroke transparency will be set to 0. And then obviously we just need this to be a lot smaller, so let's try like 20 by 20, perhaps. Yep, 20 by 20, just like that, and it's in the corner. Perfect. Okay. Then we will set the background transparency to be 1, and then boom. Yep, perfect. And then now we just need a name text label. So we will I'll just duplicate this, control plus, so select it, control plus D, or just home and then duplicate it at the top left. We'll drag this down to the bottom middle, so align it at the middle if I can get it right. What is going on? Okay, so we'll do that, and then you just want to we'll just rename this to be name text label, right? And then here you're gonna put whatever the default pickaxe is in your game. I'm just gonna call mine Rusty Axe, but it's up to you guys. I'm gonna call mine Rusty Axe. And then I just need to make this wider, so like 100. And let's see. No, that's too wide. 80. Mm, to go up a little bit. Or no, I think that's fine. Yeah, and then something like that. Okay. All right, and then we are done with the UI. Okay, perfect. So from here, the next thing, let's head on over to server storage. As you guys can see, I have a Rusty Axe already. Drag this over to workspace to show you guys if it will let me. What the, okay, there we go. All right. So as you guys can see, we have an axe. Okay, so it's really not that hard. Just literally go to the toolbox, search for an axe if you don't have an axe model, and then just turn it into a tool. It's just not difficult. Or just search up an axe model or a pickaxe model. It doesn't really matter. All you literally have to do is just plus icon, tool, name it whatever, make sure it has a handle. This is just a regular part. That's all this is. This is just a regular part. This is where the player's hand is going to be. So it has to be named handle, and it has to be literally named handle and inside of the tool, right? And then this part is just the actual model itself. It's just like a 3D mesh. So yeah, it's very simple. Once you have that, again, make sure the names match. See how the names match. So once you do that, you're gonna head on over to server storage because obviously you want to store all of this stuff properly, right? So inside of server storage, plus icon, insert a folder, rename this folder to be items, then insert a folder into that folder, and then you could just name this folder axes, and then you can put your rusty axe in there, whatever your starter or default axe is in your game. So we'll just have that there. And then I do have two sounds. Again, I got them from the toolbox. Just search up axe sounds. One's hit, one's swing. So one is when you just swing the pickaxe. The other was when you actually hit something. Literally go to the toolbox, go to sounds, search up axe, and then just click them, and then just make sure they're inside the sound service. That simple. Okay, so open up starter player. Now let's get to the scripting. So starter player scripts, plus icon, local script. Rename the script to be core script in parentheses put local will be here for just a few minutes. So let's create a few variables. First, we're going to create a variable for the user input service. We're going to say local UIS is equal to game get service, in quotation marks, user input service. Then we're going to create a variable for our remote event. So core event is equal to game that replicated storage, wait for child, core event. Then we're going to create a variable for our local player. So say player is equal to game.players.localPlayer. Then we're going to set up our first function. So core event, client event, connect function in parentheses, put event type. So it'll be the specific event. Then press enter. Then we'll say if event type is equal to in quotation marks, disable backpack. Keep in mind, we have a custom backpack, hotbar, whatever you want to call it. So we don't need the default Roblox one enabled. So enter, then we'll simply just say local starter GUI is equal to game dot starter GUI colon set core GUI enables. Then you just say enum dot core GUI type dot backpack comma false, right? And then on to our next function. So first we create a variable to be a boolean, so axe equipped is equal to false. This is what we'll use to check if whether or not the axe is currently equipped, so that we know if the player's either trying to equip the axe or they're trying to unequip the axe when they press the 1 key. So we'll say UIS to input began, connect function, in parentheses, put input, comma, processed, enter. Then we'll say if input dot user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot keyboard and not processed, which pretty much just means the player is not typing in chat when they press the key, enter. Then you'll say if input dot keycode is equal to enum dot keycode. This can be whatever you want it to be. I'm just gonna set mine to 1. Enter. Then you'll say if axe equipped, which is it's just the same as saying if axe equipped is equal to true, which means the player's axe is currently equipped. Enter. Then you're gonna say core events fire server in quotation marks unequip unequip wait unequip yeah no I spelled that right unequip axe, right? And then axe equipped will be set to false, and then we'll just do the vice versa. Else if not axe equipped, then core event fire server equip axe, right? And then you'll say axe equip is equal to true, and then boom, it's just that simple. Now we can move on to the server script. All right, let me just make sure everything okay, we are good. Okay, so then heading over to server script service, one last thing that I already have done is an animation. Again, I got this from the toolbox. I get literally everything from the toolbox except for the scripts. That's literally just it. But yeah, so just search up like pickaxe animation stuff like that, and then just find you an animation, and then so you just simply click right here, animation, click that, rename it, throw your animation ID in there. You can't use my animation ID; it literally will not work. You have to use your own animation ID. So then click the plus icon, server script service, insert a script, and then just drag your animation inside of the script. All right, so we'll rename the script to be core script and parentheses put server, right? We will delete print hello world, and then we will create a couple of variables. First, create a variable for the sound service. We'll say local ss is equal to game get service sound service for our sound effects. Remember down here. Then for our next variable, we will create a variable for our remote event. Core event is equal to game.replicated storage to wait for child core event. Then we'll create a variable for our items folder. So items folder is equal to game.server storage wait for child items. Then we'll go ahead and set up our functions. So game.players.player added connect function in parentheses put PLR, which is just short for the player who joined the game. And then we're going to create two variables. First, in or inventory folder, right? This is a folder that's gonna keep track of so first the ores the player currently has, as well as the names of or not the names, the amounts of them, but also the names as well. So ore inventory is equal to instance.new. It's gonna be a folder. Or inventory.name is equal to quotation marks or inventory. Then or inventory.parent is equal to player. Then we're going to create a variable called equipped axe, so we know like what axe the player currently has equipped. Or yeah, because it's called axe. So pickaxe axe. We'll just call it that. Yeah. So we'll just say equipped axe is equal to instance.new. This should be a string value, right? Equipped axe dot name is equal to equipped axe, and then equipped axe dot value should be rusty. Remember, you want your names to be consistent. So whatever you name this is what it should be here. So rusty axe, right? Then equipped axe dot parent is equal to player, right? And then you're gonna set up a function player dot character added connect function in parentheses put character enter, and then we're going to disable the backpack. So every time, make sure it's fire client singular. We're gonna disable the backpack each time player comma disable backpack. After that, we're going to create a hitbox for the players so that they're able to, be able to mine things in combat, and as well as I don't know, I don't think you can fight other players, but I know you can fight NPCs. So we're gonna create a hitbox. So hitbox equal to instance.new in quotation marks put a parts, and then you're going to say hitbox.name is equal to in quotation marks hitbox. You're gonna say hitbox.anchored is set to false. Hitbox.canCollide is set to false. Hitbox.massless is equal to true. Hitbox.transparency is equal to 1. Hitbox.size is equal to vector3.new in parentheses put 5,6, 2.5. Hitbox.color is equal to color3.new. I'm gonna make mine red, but it's up to you guys. 1, 0, 0, right? Just gonna be for testing purposes. And then you're gonna say hitbox pivot to character dot humanoid root part dot cframe. Then you're going to weld it. So we need to create a weld constraint. So weld constraint is equal to instance.new weld constraint dot part 0 is equal to hitbox, and weld constraint dot part 1 is equal to character dot humanoid root part. So now they're welded together. Then hitbox dot parent is equal to hitbox, and then boom, we are done with the first function. Now on to the equip acts and unequip acts, as well as being able to mine things with set acts. So we're going to say core events dot on server events connect function in parentheses put PLR which is short for the player, then comma event type. Enter create a variable for the player's character, so character is equal to player dot character, right? Then you're going to say if event type is equal to in quotation marks equip acts, enter. Then you're going to say you're going to create a variable for set acts, assuming we can find it, of course. So we're going to say item folders that acts is find first child player dot equipped acts dot value. So if we can find set acts, so if acts, then you will say acts is equal to, make sure you clone it, right? And then you'll set its parent to be player's character. And then we'll say acts dot act, or I'm about dot activated, which means the player just clicked while they had the tool equipped. Connect function, close parentheses, press enter, right? We're gonna play the swing. We're gonna play the swing animation. So we're gonna say, gonna create variable for our animation track. So it's equal to character dot humanoid dot animator load animation. In parentheses, you're gonna say script dot act swing animation at play, right? Then you're also gonna play the sound effects. So ss dot act swing play, right? You don't have to have sound effects if you don't want to, by the way. Um, and then we're going to do some raycasting. So first, let's get our start position. So start position is equal to character dot humanoid root part dot hitbox dot position. Then we're going to get our direction, which is equal to character dot humanoid root part dot hitbox dot cframe dot look vector, right? Then we're going to set up our raycast parameters. So we're going to say raycast params is equal to raycast params dot new close parentheses raycast params dot filter type is equal to enum dot raycast filter type dot exclude, and then raycast params dot filter descendants instances is equal to special bracket, and then you're going to say character colon get to descendants, right? And then you're going to finally create our array. So ray is equal to workspace raycast start position, comma direction, very important. You need to multiply this times something because what's going to happen is the array is not going to make it that far unless you like multiply the direction. So I'm going to set this to be 5. You guys can mess around with this number. The greater the number, the further the range out. For example, if you set this to be like 5, then that means the player can mine it when they're like standing, pretty close to it. They don't have to be right up on it, but pretty close to it. If you set it to like 30, then that means the player will be able to mine it from like all the way over here. So yeah. Choose a number that worked for you, then comma, raycast params, right? Then from there, we're going to use an if statement. We're going to say if ray and ray.instance, which means it made contact with an object, and ray.instance.name is equal to object hitbox, right? And I specifically named I wanted the hitbox for the rock, the ore, whatever you want to call it, to be named object hitbox because I don't know if in the game you can hurt other players. I don't know if that's how that works. So I just wanted it specifically to just be able to just mine for now. And then plus I don't know if you could even use a pickaxe as a weapon. I don't know if that does damage to NPCs. But anyway, so then we're going to create a variable for our object is equal to ray.instance.parent because remember the hitbox is a child of our object, right? So then from there, you're then going to use an if statement. You're going to say if object find first child. We need to make sure is when it has its value and that is set to true. So object is Mineable dot value is set to true. Enter if it is, then we'll play the sound effect. Axe hit, so we hit something. Play will take away from its health. Object dot health dot value is less than or equal to 5. You can set this to whatever you want it to be, completely up to you guys. Then we'll say if object dot health dot value is less than or equal to 0, which means it needs to be destroyed. Then we need to see if the player already has one or more of the objects inside their or inventory. So if player dot or inventory find first child object dot name, enter. Then all we need to do is simply just do this player dot or inventory regular brackets, and then you're just simply going to say object dot name, go on the outside, dot value plus equal 1, because they now have an extra one now, or another one. However, if it's not, we need to create the value. So if player dot or inventory find first child object dot name, enter, then we're now going to create that value. So we're going to say or is equal to instance.new. This is going to be a number value, right? Did not mean to do that. Going to be a number value. You're going to say or.name is equal to object.name. Or.value should be 1. And then or.parent should be player.or inventory. And then after you're going to skip this, end because that's after, that's after. Then you're going to destroy the object regardless of whether or not, whichever one it goes. You're going to destroy the object, and then, all right. Then after that, you're going to skip 5 ends. So very simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to press enter. You're going to say else if, that's how you spell that. Else if event type is equal to quotation marks unequip axe, enter. Then you're going to again create a variable for the axe is equal to, this time it's character, find first child, player dot equipped axe, gotta make sure they still have it, dot value. If it's found, then axe will be destroyed. Very simple. All right, guys, let's go ahead and test to make sure everything works. As always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, just simply read the description to figure out how to gain access to that. That goes for this video or any of my other ones. What is that? Bucks. Oh, I'm stupid. My bad, guys. My bad. This is supposed to be world constraint. That parent. I've never even seen that error before. My bad. But yeah, so just read the description to figure out how to get access to that. Okay, so if I press 1, as you can see, I can equip, unequip, equip, unequip. I'm able to equip the axe. If I left click, hitbox is not a valid member. I don't have a hitbox? That's not good. I think I know what it is. Hold on. If I reset my character, we're gonna be here for about 10 minutes because oh, okay, never mind. And then if I have it, I think I know what it is. No, I don't know what it is. Huh. That's so weird. Why don't I have a hitbox? Why am I missing a hitbox? I am so stupid. I never parented the hitbox. My bad, guys. My bad. That's on me. Oh, I see what I was supposed to do. Never mind. I see what I was supposed to do. Okay. I was supposed to do. Yeah. I see. I see now. Okay. Right here. You're supposed to say hitbox.parent is equal to character.humanoid root part. Then we'll get straight on parent. There we go. There we go. My bad, guys. I forgot to parent this stuff. That's why. That's why I had hitbox, because I was supposed to do that first, but then I got confused. Okay. Now if I hit play and I spelled it wrong. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, guys. Make sure you didn't spell it wrong. It's to be an uppercase R. Okay. Now let's hope for the best. Okay. There we go. Okay. As you guys can see. Well, and here as well. You can hear the sound effect. Now, if I go over here, we'll look at the rock and notice the health, right? Boom. And you can hear the sound as well. Boom. Boom. Destroyed, right? Then if I go over here, my ore inventory, you'll see I have 1 rock. So yeah, guys, this is part 1 to how to make the forge. If the series does well, I'll continue with more videos. As long as the series gets love and support, I will continue with more and more videos and stuff. Let me know of any bugs you guys find, anything else you want to see, even if it's not related to the series and stuff. Again, sorry for the delay with the videos. I had my wisdom teeth removed not too long ago. Hope everybody's having a great 2026 so far, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.